I'm waiting for Soma Shekhar to join and Manoj also. I'm waiting for backup class to join.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Nine. Good evening, Nine.
Good evening, sir. I am Somashekar.
Okay, Soma Shekhar. If you are welcome to the Python batch, and if you are available online, doesn't matter. Just I'm waiting for another student Manoj to join. As soon as he join, we can
Okay,
start the backup class where we started the Python course actually. Some few hours of the class, Gautami, Somashekar, and Manoj is missing. So we want to compensate that. That's why this is special session on Saturday. Let me wait for Manoj to join.
okay, sir.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome, Manoj. You can switch on the mic and you can reply. Am I audible, Manoj? Okay, fine, fine. Okay, let's start the fundamentals of Python. Actually, something that we didn't introduce you. Uh, this will be helpful for you to continue the classes from Monday. I'm planning for today and tomorrow to provide some backup classes for specifically for Gautami, Somashekar, and Manoj. Already Vinay and Rishabh is also online. They have joined in their own interest to take part in this class. They are welcome. And now, if you talk about any programming language, you have planned to start learning the Python programming language. Two materials frequently I will share with you. One is PDF document about some of the content that you have to read. That will be every time when I start a new topic, I'll share the document with you all. And also some of the slides I'm using as a presentation for your online as well as offline classes. That will also be shared with you in your Python WhatsApp group. Please go through the slides briefly because the points are very brief. If you want elaborate explanation and to make practices, you have to go to the textual explanation PDF that is also will be available for you. And the third one is, I can say, you have to download a software for your computer, something called as Anaconda Navigator. Just I have messaged the name. Please note down the name. And if you are using your laptop or probably Manoj is going to utilize the lab services from the institute also, particularly Somashekar and Gautami can please download the software.
Anaconda mediator what, sir?
It is a very straightforward download Anaconda. It's a free software. You don't need to pay anything online. You can start downloading and you can install. Installing is also not a big deal. If you know basic app installations in your mobile, the same effort you have to put it in your laptop or desktop to install the navigator, Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator we are going to use as a software platform where we are going to use a IDE, Integrated Development Environment. It is shortly called as IDE. It will be helpful for us. It will be helpful for us for our programming requirements in Python. Whenever I'm asking to experiment whatever the code that I'm giving, the problem that you will solve in computer, it will be based on Anaconda Navigator's Spider IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Also, you are going to learn about how the Python is supporting two kinds of programming. One is experimental, another one is for long term. It is two modes. It is called as modes. If you go through the text PDF and all that I'm sharing today, also I will share again with the group for the benefit of the new students who have joined our batch. One is called as a scripting mode, another one is called as interactive mode. For one or two line of program in Python, we use interactive mode of execution of programming statements. And for a long lengthy problem or for the benefit of future reference and you want to store the program in your computer, etc., you have to go for another mode in Python called as scripting mode. Both modes are supported by Spider. It is convenient integrated development environment to perform and learn Python programming. And now, if I want to ask you about any human natural languages, you will obviously tell me that if I want to learn, say for example, Chinese language, first you have to start from the alphabet of the Chinese language, where the programming will be started. And whenever you start the alphabet of Chinese language, you will be understanding the ABCD of the Chinese language. I'm just saying ABCD, maybe something else in Chinese language. And apart from that, as soon as you know comfortable with the symbols, obviously, am I audible? It is showing me that system load, something message I'm getting from Google Meet. Am I audible, friends? Manoj, am I audible? Rishabh, Gautami? Okay, fine. You will tell me that yeah, okay, Gautami, Manoj and Rishabh, thanks. If you say, obviously you will say that if I want to learn a natural human language, I will start the understanding the alphabet and its symbols. Then I will go forming words, sentences. I will start writing prose and poems, etc. Whatever I want to create in that particular language. The same criteria you can apply to a computer programming language. The only difference is you don't need to learn any symbol as such. You are not learning any particular symbols like what it is called as what is its alphabet, etc., because all the computer programming languages uses its alphabet from English language, A to Z, 0 to 9, and all the special symbols that you are aware of, comma, quotation, punctuators, white spaces, various characters, all together we call it as Python character set. You have to be familiar with this idea. Just we don't say alphabet, we say character set. Character is nothing but alphabets. One character, if you say A, it is a character. If you say B, it is another alphabet. But in general, in programming language, whether it is a character, a digit, or special symbols or white space or anything, if you type one time, if some symbol is appearing or some non-graphical thing is appearing on your screen, then we call it as a character. There is every language, it is supporting a character set that you should be aware of. What are the permitted character set? You are seeing in your slide now. Apart from that, you must recognize, even if you are not having a computer background, you must understand that computer doesn't understand anything except a low voltage and a high voltage. Only two signals an electronic device like computer can understand. Something, a bunch of low voltages, a bunch of high voltage signals, or combination of low and high voltage signals, or something we say the signals which is the computer is working on. Such type of low voltage and high voltage, technically in programming languages we call it as binary code or binary symbol. Low voltage is represented by 0 and the high voltage is represented by 1. Only by means of zeros and ones, all the operations are performed by a electronic device, say computer. You will be wondering, yes, obviously it is an amazing device that humankind has invented, which can perform all its operations, which is visible to you as if it is a video, as if it is a text or a photo or something else. It is sensational to you, it is making sense to you, but for machine, it is not a photo, it's not a audio, it's not a video, or it is not a text. Then what it is? It is everything is zeros and ones for computer. Computer doesn't know anything except these zeros and ones, low voltage signals and high voltage signals. We call it as binary numbers. Except these two signals and symbols, there is nothing the computer can understand. Now the coming to the point, if it is not understanding zeros and ones, how the computer is displaying A, B, C, D, even it can display Kannada, Telugu, or Bengali language or Hindi language, something it is displaying. I said it is for you Tamil or Telugu or Hindi or Kannada, Bengali or etc. But for computer it is also nothing but zeros and ones. Such type of coding system is, there are two types of coding system available. It is called as ASCII coding or Unicode coding. ASCII is a abbreviation or acronym you can call it as. ASCII's full form is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. ASCII. Unified Code, it is also called as Unicode. What is the use of this ASCII code and Unicode means? There is a universal standard in the world. Those who are using computers and various other computer like CPU electronic devices, including our smartphones, which is also based on the same computer technologies, it is using ASCII codes and Unicode to represent the thing that you are typing in your keyboard, whether it is a hard keyboard or it is a soft virtual touch keyboard. Say for example, if you type A, computer receives a bunch of code in the combination of zeros and ones, Most probably, the ASCII code of capital A is standard worldwide is 65. If you take capital B, it is 66, and so on. Now, what is this code is doing for us? When you type ABCD something, the combination of these characters can form word, sentence. It is making sense to the computer, and it is processing in the form of zeros and ones. This ASCII code and Unicode is existing in the world because things has to be standardized. If I type capital A in India, it should generate a binary code to the computer so that it can process. But it should be the same code even if it is typed in the same A key in America, because it should be universal. The standard should be applicable to any part of the world. That's why this type of coding system is existing in the world. Apart from that, one new word I want to introduce to you, that is machine language. Machine language means the way we talk about human natural language. There is some language, it's called as machine language. Machine refers to our computer system only. Again, please don't forget, computer is after all a machine. It's not human brain. It cannot think or it cannot do anything that you want to do. You want to ask to do. You have to give clear cut instruction to the computer system what to do, it will be doing. The story doesn't ends up by saying that what you have to do. You have to tell the computer that how to do, when to do, everything you have to explain. Otherwise, computer can't do anything because it is not having its own sense or natural intelligence which can make the computer to work by its own. Everything is the user, you and me, who are controlling the computer system. If you make the computer to understand its language, all the instructions are given in machine language. Machine language looks like in the combination of zeros and ones. It is extremely difficult for human beings to directly understand, and it is not easy for everyone to develop instructions, do this one, do that one, do that problem solving, etc., in the form of machine language. That's why people call it as high level languages existing. Why do you need a high level language? Because computers doesn't understand human language, natural languages as of now. In future might be understanding, we are not knowing because researchers are working on that. Python is a high level language where English like instructions will be typed and given to the computer. It will be translated to machine code and machine can directly understand after that, because I said already in one occasion and many occasions I have told, the mother tongue of machine is like computer, it is machine language. It's mother tongue. Okay, this is some foundational point about high level language, machine language, what we type, how the things are happening inside, etc. I have explained. Now moving on to some topic called as tokens. Usually in a program, if you type anything, it is in the form of either words or punctuators, something like that. Symbols, punctuators, words, etc. All these words, punctuators like comma quotation, or some symbols like plus minus symbols, all are called as tokens. The tokens are the lexical units of a programming language. That is the basic thing for any program. If you say words in any natural human languages, if you write a paragraph, it is composed of words, space, punctuators, etc. Same thing here, we don't call it as words, we call it as tokens. If you type a programming language in statement, it can be called in a roughly we can say sentence. In that sentence, words can be there, punctuators, comma quotations can be available. Sorry. and operators like plus minus can be possible. Now we divide the tokens into 5 types. Some tokens are called as keywords. You can call it as categories of tokens. Keywords in Python, identifiers in Python, literals, operators, punctuators, etc. are in general called as tokens. Now, one by one, we will see what is this tokens are called as, why we need in our computer programming languages like Python. And please don't forget, we are learning a computer programming language to solve a problem. Whether it is a simple small problem like finding the area of a circle, or it may be as big as the Indian Railways reservation system. Such a complicated program or problem can be solved by writing programs. And also, don't be deceived of the fact, deceived of false thing that computer can solve, or you can solve any problem in computer. No, it's not possible to solve every problem in computer. If you have a solution using paper and pen, if you can solve the problem, then only you can solve that problem in a computer. It means that if you don't have a manual solution, you cannot find a automated solution in computer. It should be a fact for you to understand. Say for example, if I say some theories are there in physics and metaphysics, still the Einstein has given something, still research is going on, the solution is not available. If you think, can I solve that one in computer, the answer is no, because you don't solve the problem in paper and pen, so you cannot find the solution in computer as well. So this should be very clear about that. Take another example in the world. Usually people will talk about poverty eradication. Yes, for human beings it is a problem. Can we solve this one using computer? We don't have any planned solution in paper, so we cannot also solve in computer. That is the answer. Now moving on to tokens. First type of tokens is called as keywords. Keywords means you can understand something. Keywords means it is so key to the Python language. That's why those words are called as very key to Python keywords, or sometimes it is also called as a reserved words. What do you mean by reserved words or keywords? You can synonymously use the words that are reserved words and have special meaning for Python. Then it is called as keyword. If some word is there that you want to type in a program, it is already taken by Python, then you cannot use that word for any purpose of your own. Only you have to use those words for the purpose that is dictated by Python interpreter. Please don't forget the word interpreter. Interpreter is nothing but a program. It is called as the language of Python, which is translating the human readable program into machine readable form. It is interpreting. So it is interpreter. You will be writing the program instructions in English like language. It will translate it into machine language. It is in the form of zeros and ones. That's why we need interpreter. If the computer can understand directly human English language, we don't need any interpreter. Say for example, me and Vinay want to talk to each other. Vinay can speak only Telugu, I can speak only, say for example, Tamil. We cannot talk to each other. If we want to talk to each other, somebody should be required who knows both Tamil and Telugu, so that I can talk in Tamil. The person who is knowing both languages can interpret the words and sentences that I am expressing to Vinay. After that, Vinay will be expressing his own idea. It is in the form of Telugu script, and that will be in turn returned to translated to Tamil. So this is one example of translating from one language to another. That is what happening to in computer also. Human readable form of instruction is translated to machine language. In turn, machine is giving you answers. That is also translated back to the human readable form. So in both way, these translations are happening. That is called as the work of interpreters. Every keyword is assigned a specific verb in a programming language. Only it can be used for that purpose alone. You cannot use it for any purpose other than this. I want to ask Gautami, Manoj, and Somashekar. Are you able to follow what I'm explaining? Rishabh, you joined in this topic or you joined late, Rishabh? Okay, fine, Gautami. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, fine, Rishabh. If you know that, that's nice. And if you want to add some point when I'm explaining, you can message me. That one also visible to the students, so you can share. Even I also can share if they want to share something message, you can share that message. Okay. Now, if in this slide, what you are seeing in your screen, if you see some of the words, for example, they have mentioned in this slide, these words are called as Python's reserved words or keywords, and while, or, if, except, exec, finally, etc. All these words are reserved or keywords. It is holding some special meaning for Python. That is the word which is called as keywords. It is one of the tokens, type of tokens in types of token in Python. The next type of tokens are called as identifiers. The word expresses the idea that it is identifying something. It is identifying something. So it is called as identifiers. Any name that you use in computer program for your own purpose to solve your own problem. You have a problem in hand to solve in computer. You want to create various names. All those names are called as identifiers. Say for example, if you have a value 10, you want to put it in the computer memory. Next time you want to get it back, you have to name the value. Say for example, x. X is referring to a value 10. Without name, you cannot access the value from the memory. X, I can say an identifier. For your convenience, you created a name to hold the value or refer the value. It is called as identifiers. Name of the variables, objects, classes, functions, various things we are giving name in our Python program. All are called as identifiers. All these things are called as identifiers only. Because you are creating a name in computer program, arbitrarily you cannot create whatever you wish. You have to follow the set of rules that is framed by the Python programming language to give name to identifiers. If you want to name a variable, name a object, class or functions, we are going to see all this: what is variable, what is object, what is class, what is function, etc. Now, in case if you are giving a name to a variable or a function, arbitrarily you cannot give anything that you wish. You have to follow a set of rule. It is very simple rule. You can remember those. Uh, a long sequence of letters and digits. It is possible. The first character must be letter or underscore. When you start the name of anything, or you name something in Python, either it should be alphabets A to Z or a special character called as underscore in your keyboard. It can be started with that character. Other than this, you cannot start. It means you cannot start a name with digits or special characters like punctuators, comma, quotation, full stop, etc. Upper and lower case are different. Please try to understand that. Say for example, I'm typing a message in your message box. I'm typing the name of one of our student, Rishabh, and I'm also typing the same name again. Now the message is visible on your window. Whatever the message you are seeing, One is in capital letters, another one is in small letters. For us as a human being, we can say that it is Rishabh, whether it can be in capital letters or in small letters. It refers to a particular human being. Okay, fine. But this type of naming cannot be or it is not permitted in Python. Why? We in general, as a concept, we say that Python is a case sensitive language. Python is a case sensitive computer programming language. What do you mean by case sensitive? It differentiates capital letters from small letters of English language. If you type capital A, it is different from the small a. Uppercase A is different and lowercase a is different. Why? Because obviously you know that the code that you type capital A is different from the code that is generated by the computer for a small letter. To differentiate two things differently, it is generating two different codes. So obviously Python is following the same fundamentals and it is differentiating. Yes, yes, Rishabh, fine. Yes, you are. I'm saying ASCII value of the capital letter and small letter is different. That means ASCII value of capital A is different from English small letter A. That's why it is called as case sensitive language. So please don't deceive for the thing that you can in a program some place you can type in capital letters, sometime you can type in small letters the same name or in mixed letters and you can think that it refers to the same value. No, it is not in Python. Please try to understand. Next, the digits 0s and 9 are not allowed except the first character. 0 to 9 are not allowed as a first character. That means you cannot start a name with digits 0, 1, 2, 3, something you cannot start. But later on you can type. It is acceptable. It must not be a keyword. Already I told you keyword is one of the tokens that is having a special meaning to Python. You cannot use it as a identifier for your own meaning. You cannot redefine the meaning. It means that you are trying to redefine the meaning. It is not possible. Some exceptions are there. It is very advanced. We don't need to talk about that here. How do we redefine the meaning of a particular thing in a programming language? No special characters are allowed other than the underscore. I told you a variable can start with a digit, with a alphabet or underscore. Except that underscore special character, no other character can be used in the name of the variable. General identifier name. Spaces are not permitted. Spaces means you cannot use space in the name of identifiers. Space is also a character. So if you remember these fundamental rules, you know how to name the variables. Now, if you have understood, could you please tell me, particularly I'm addressing to Gautami, Somashekar and Manoj. They are saying that in the top 6 names has been given. You can call it as identifiers. Some another 6 identifiers has been given in the downside. They say that the 6 are valid, but the next 6 are invalid. Invalid means it is not acceptable to Python. Why it is not acceptable? Grade pay if roll number dot 12 underscore 2018 underscore file S James 007, sorry, dollar James 007, roll space number. All these things are not acceptable name identifier for Python. Could you please tell me what is the reason? Fine. Yes, Manoj. If is a keyword, fine. I accept. Any other reasons for any other words why it is invalid? Gautami, you also can try in class questions. That will be, if you interact, that will be nice. And Somashekar, you also please participate and interact. If you are able to recognize what is the reason for its invalidity, Please express that one in message also. Any specific reason?
Sir, signal problem, sir.
Which one?
Signal problem.
Yeah, which one you are referring, Somasekar? Space. Space is also, yes, Manoj, I agree. Space is also not permitted.
Yes, sir.
Where do you refer this one, Manoj? Space is not permitted, fine, but in which identifier? Okay. Now what I request, roll number, this, okay, fine, fine. Yes, you are right, Manoj. And you tried to say something, Somasekar. Please repeat that. Please try to, I would like to move on to the next slide. I may request Gautami, Manoj and Somasekar, please find out the reason why they call it as invalid identifiers. You compare the invalidity by means of going through the identifier naming rules. If you make sense of that, you can easily I categorize that this reason for invalidity. Already Manoj has said that if is a keyword, you cannot use it as identifier, so it is invalid. Role space number is having the space, so it's not a valid identifier. So something, some two has been given the reason. Moving on. Now, something called as literals and values that we saw as part of tokens. Please don't forget the major topic that we are discussing in the fundamentals of Python. It is tokens. First we saw keywords, then we saw identifiers. Now we are focusing on literals, or sometimes it is also called as values. Anything that you type literally inside the program, it is called as literals. Also, it can be called as constants, but we don't use that word in Python. We can go with the word as usual. By in many programmers, they use the word literals or values. What are the literals? Literals are data items that have a fixed value. Support several kinds of literals are available in Python program. You can type different types of literals, different types of values. Yesterday in our previous class, if you recall, Gautami and Manoj can recognize that data is a very important item that we are processing. Computer is also called as data processing machine. And if you type 10, 100, something like that, literally you are typing, they are called as literals. But the story doesn't end up with that. Multiple types of literals are there in Python. For the sake of programming, we have to differentiate these things, otherwise precisely we cannot understand the literals. Strings can be literals, numeric literals possible, Boolean literals, special literals, none, literal collections. One by one we can go through and we can recognize what are the values or literals supported by Python. What do you mean by string literals? String means it is a rope or thread, something, string. Here, a string refers to creating something by means of combination of characters, or simply put, if you enclose anything by double quote or by single quote, Python recognizes it as a string literal. In another way, if you want to type your name literally inside a program, you cannot type like Gautami or Rishabh or Manu something. You have to first start with double quote or single quote, and you have to enclose that one by single quote or double quote. Both are supported by Python. Either you go with double quote or you can go with single quote. Sometimes double quote is handy, sometimes single quote is handy, but both are valid string literals in Python. Python Example of literal, you can see the word Python. If you want that one as a string literal, you have to enclose by double quote. Gambo, it's a string literal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is enclosed by single quote. It is also string literal. Hello, how are you? That is also string literal. Say for example, you want single characters like a dollar sign or 4 or at symbol something. You can put it in single or double quotes. In Python, both single character or multiple characters enclosed in quotes such as KV are treated as same. Single quote or multiple character. Even it is a single character or multiple character. It is not differentiating to tell that character constant and string constant. We don't differentiate in Python. We generally talk about uh, single character or multi character enclosed in double quotes are treated as same. Okay. Examples for string literals. Now, non-graphic characters are something called as escape characters. Some characters are there. They are called as non-graphic because it is not visible. Visibly, it doesn't have any shape. In your computer keyboard, if you use space, if you use enter key, say for example, if you use tab key, it is having some effect on your screen, but it doesn't have any graphical representation. Visibility is not there. If you type a symbol A is displayed. When you type space, some space is created. It doesn't have any shape, right? So we call it as non-graphic. All the characters, all the characters that can be represented as non-graphic can be started by backslash character. There are two slashes are there, forward slash, backward slash. We use backward slash for this purpose. How, what, why, little bit we'll move on. If you see, if you want to type the backward backslash, you have to type 2 times. You need the single quote in your string value. You can type backslash single quote. Because single quote and double quotes has been reserved for a special meaning, the punctuator is having special meaning for Python. It refers to the beginning and end of string literal. You need the same single quote or double quote itself to be typed, itself to be a value. Because in a string value, when you type the single quote and double quote, it is just the marking of beginning and end. The single quote and double quote itself is not part of the string literal. If you understand the concept, you can recognize that yes, of course, if I need single quote double quote itself part of the string, I have to type it as backslash single quote backslash double quote. You want to create a bell sound, beep sound means you have to use the character backslash a. If you want to use the backspace key, that is deleting backward, it is backslash b. If you want the effect of enter key, you have to use backslash n. You want just the cursor has to return back to the beginning of the line, that is called as carriage return. You have to use backslash or. You need a tab key effect, you can use backslash t. In all these characters, most of the time we use the highlighted green color escape characters, backslash n and backslash t for a new line, for a tab key effect. In our program, when we start to write, I can demonstrate you how we are using. String type in Python. What are the types that is permitted in Python? It can be a string, a single line string. Say for example, the starting and end point of the string will be in one line. Now you see, name equal to double quote KV. If you don't close, I'm talking about this sentence. I'm talking about here. I have highlighted the thing. If you see, We are violating the rule here. What is the violation? Double quote, it has been started for the string literal, but we didn't end up the string, and the rest of the whole thing will be treated as string. So it will give you error message by the Python. Python by default creates single line string with both single quotes and must terminate in the same line by quotes. By default, it is not multi-line, it is single line. So definitely it will give you error message. The whole thing will not be treated as string. Now, multi-line means you can type more than one line, and that one can be done in two ways. In one way, like this backslash key can be used. This like this. I'm highlighting. Backslash refers that this string is two line. I am typing in two lines. If 1 by 6 Mall Road Kanpur means it will be typed as 1 by 6 Mall Road Kanpur. If you use the backslash, it is not treated as enter key, but it will be treated as continuation of the string. If you take another possibility, there is a multi-line string you can type using triple double quotes. Triple double quotes, if you put all the enter key, whatever you use inside, as usual, it will be preserved. Now you see 1 by 6 Preet Vihar New Delhi India means it will type like this. The same thing we can achieve by using the backslash n also, or you can use directly something called as it is a enter key directly. If you use the print function, the enter keys has been converted into visibly enter keys. Without using the print function in the interactive mode, if you type address, it will show you the enter key as backslash n. You can observe that here. You can observe that here. And you can observe this one. If you type like this in the Anaconda spider, you will get output like this. If you type like this, you will get the output like this. Okay. Now moving on. Size of a string. The next concept is how do you find out the size of a string? Are you able to follow so far, Manoj, Gautami, and Somashekar? You can message me by saying yes or no so that I can. Yeah, Rishabh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Gautami also. Okay, fine, Gautami. Now, something I'm going to talk about size of string, but not about. Please don't forget, and I don't want to lose you in your understanding. How means where are we now in the topic? We started tokens. Different tokens are possible. Later on, we came to literals. Different types of literals are possible. We are talking about string literals. Just we are discussing about literals. In that, string literals. Now, how one line string, multi-line strings are possible, we have seen so far. Now we are moving on to size of the string. What do you mean by size of the string? If you count the number of characters in a particular string, that is called a size of the string. Say for example, Manoj means M is a character, A is a character, N, O, J, all are each one characters. So I can say that the name Manoj is a string literal for Python and its size for Python is 5. And if I take, say for example, anything like bird, bird is a string for Python, BIRD, it refers to 4 characters. So the size of the string bird is 4. Do we need to count every time? No. We have to understand something called as functions. First time I'm using the word function. I told you this word when I told you about naming the identifiers. You can name variable, functions, classes, objects, etc. I used first time functions there. Now second time I'm using the word function. Little bit let me elaborate about functions. Once you try to invest your time and effort to understand, this is across the languages, the concept is very much similar. Now you see, my friends, if you want to perform any operation in computer, to perform operations we have symbols. What do you mean by symbols? Plus symbol, minus symbol, these are all symbols. It can perform very elementary operations, very primitive operations. What about complicated operations? There is no operators in computer. Say for example, I am taking the mathematics square root, a well-known example. If you need to add a two numbers, 2 plus 2, Python can tell you 4, because plus is a symbol that refers to an operation of addition. So 2 is added to 2 and the result is 4. But what about square root? Square root is a little bit difficult task. It is not a primitive operation. We don't have any direct symbol in computer like root of symbol in mathematics, the way we are representing. Those things will not work. The extension of operators or functions in computer which is performing complicated operations. Operators are simple symbols in computer that performs primitive, very elementary operation. If you want to perform complicated operations, you have to go with functions. What is function? How it looks like? Function is having a name. It ends up with opening and closing parentheses, brackets. You have to differentiate the different kinds of parentheses, brackets in computer. Some brackets are called as parentheses, some are called as square brackets, some are called as angle brackets, some are called as curly braces. Different type of brackets are there. If you want to be precise in the computer programming, you should know the name of the character, what you are actually using with which one. You cannot exchange one bracket type with another bracket type. If the Python says that use parenthesis bracket, you have to go with parenthesis. Okay. Now, what is function? Function is the idea of extension to operators. It can perform more complicated. Any complicated operation can be done with a function. It is having a name. Name is nothing but sequence of characters. Identifier. And it ends up with opening and closing parentheses. That is sufficient to understand that it is a function in program. Many functions are built in by Python core standard library. What do you mean by this? We don't need to write any code how the function or operation should be performed. Already the code has been written. Just use the identifier of the function or function name. It will perform the operation. It will return you the result. Now coming to the size of a string. If you want to count the number of characters in a particular string, we don't sit in front of the computer screen and we are not counting. Just we have a function called as len function, L-E-N, len. Len refers to length. Most of the time, the Python developers and many of the computer scientists are coming from Unix background. In Unix operating system, everything will be in abbreviation. Short names they will use. They will not type anything in full word. That is the attitude of our Unix scientists. So the len function is also not in the full name length. It is simply they are using the word len. And now I have given a introduction about function. Whenever I use the word function, please make sense of what I'm trying to refer to. And if you type the len function, immediately it will show you what you are actually doing. Now, before wrapping up this session, I want to project the window which is called as spider window, where we are experimenting all our programs. for the sake of our new joinees. Now, if you are able to observe your screen, you can see the screen that I have projected. It is the spider window. In the extreme, the major part of the window that you are seeing a rectangular box in the left side is called as scripting mode window. That is the scripting section. You want to check small code, one line programs in Python, and you want to see the result immediately. Go to the right side bottom rectangle box. Now let me type something and you can observe the effects. Now just I told you strings means double quote or single quote something. Let me experiment here. If the name of a person, say for example, if I say Bangalore, I can ask print name. It will print you the name, the value of the name. Here print is nothing but a function, because print is having an identifier name. It is print, and it is end up with double parenthesis, opening and closing parenthesis. In between the parentheses you can specify some other stuff. We will be discussing that in later in detail. Now we have given the variable name. It is displaying the value that it refers to. Name is referring to Bangalore, so Bangalore is printed. This is called as interactive mode. If you download and install, this is the thing that you are going to see in your screen. Say for example, the same name I can use in single quote also. I can say for example Chennai, and I can ask the Python to interpret what is the value of name, please print. Now exactly it is accepting, it is not showing me any error. Now I told you, if you started a string, say for example rose flowers, something you typed, but you didn't mark the end point of the string, I enter, immediately it will tell you that it is in syntax error. This is not the grammatical rule that you can follow in Python. So it is not accepting, it is generating error. Either it is in, whether you are in the interactive mode or in the left side scripting mode, both you will get error. It says that EOL while scanning string literal. This is the error. EOL means end of the line. We reached the end of the line, but we didn't find the end of the string literal. So it is an error. So if I want that properly, I have to type like this. Double quote, rose, flowers, double quote. Now it is accepting. If I ask the computer Python interpreter to print what is the value that name is referring to, it says it is rose flowers. Okay. Now I told you some strings you can type in multiple lines. I rose flowers or backslash manufactured or gardened in Bangalore. Now it is a multi-line string. I used backslash to mark the continuity of the string. Now also I can ask print name. It is printing you rose flowers are gardened in Bangalore. Or simply if I say name, it is saying that rose flowers are gardened in Bangalore. It is not showing you the backslash key, whatever you are using the enter key, because enter key is not part of the string when you use backslash. Now the multi-string you want to create, say for example rose flowers, or if you want a multiple line to type, you can start with all of you able to follow now, friends? All of you following? All of you following? Gautami, Somasekar, Manoj, whatever I'm typing, you are watching the screen now. Okay, fine, nice. Okay, nice. And now I started by triple quotes, and now I'm typing enter. It will not comply now. Why? Because I started the string with triple double quotes. Triple double quote refers in Python to the meaning of multi-line string. Okay. Gardened, gardened in Bangalore. Oh, sorry, Bangalore. Again, I'm ending it with triple double quote. Please try to understand in string, punctuators are not part of the string. Triple double quote is not part of the string. How you can understand? If you ask to print the string, it is only printing rose flowers or garden in Bangalore. It is not printing the triple double quote. It is punctuator for the Python to understand that where is the beginning and where is the end point. If I type name directly, it says that rose flowers are backslash n garden in Bangalore. It is not typing in multi-line. Why? When you type the enter key, it refers to the escape character backslash n. Actually, you didn't type that backslash n. Now you are seeing that backslash n. It refers to enter key. If you want to interpret the meaning of the backslash n, you have to type the you have to use the print function to print the name, not merely name. Directly you should not type the name of the variable. You use the print so that it will be interpreting the meaning of backslash n. It is having the functionality, so it can do that for you. Now I told you, for example, I am saving a sentence. Say for example, called as the name is Sen. This bike is Rishabh's. I want to type like this. I want to type like this. What is the meaning? What is the meaning here? This bike is Rishabh's means this bike belongs to Rishabh. I want to create like this string. But please understand, Rishabh's means in English you are putting apostrophe, but here it is single quote. It is having a special meaning for Python. It refers to end of the string. It will not treat it as this bike is Rishabh's. No, it is not treating. Now you press enter key. It is saying that it is an invalid syntax. It is not acceptable string. What is wrong? If you want this single quote, put a backslash here. It will be treated as a string. Now it will not comply. Now you can see that what is the sentence value means. It is in capital letters. Sen. Now you see, this bike is Rishabh's. Last time, single quotes were not displayed part of the string. If you want to display the single quote part of the string, you have to type like this. Okay, friends. Now, moving on. Some other stuff, if you didn't understand, I can demonstrate. Whatever I have explained you now, I want to type one or two line of program, and I want to show you how do you program in script mode. That one I want to show you now. After that, I want to wrap up the class. I expect you to download the software and start interacting in the interaction mode and as well as in scripting mode. Then only you can be comfortable with Python. Say for example, in the left side I started typing. The same thing I want to do. What is name, or say for example a sentence. What is the sentence? Bangalore is also called Garden City. Bangalore is also called as. By the way, please don't think I'm promoting Bangalore. But I'm not native of Bangalore, by the way. Just I'm. And now you see, friends, and I have typed two lines of sentence. this is if you type anything here, you can observe that nothing is happening. Nothing is happening means when you typed in the interactive mode, as soon as you pressed enter, it is executed. Python is talking to you. Actually, you are talking to the Python. It is replying to you. But in script mode, Python will not reply you instantly. It will keep silent. Why? The code didn't go to the Python interpreter. How to do that? In the spider window, you have to press the here play button. Play button is there. It is run file, or in your function key F5. If you press that, the result is available on the interactive mode window. Are you able to see the window? So, what is the difference between interactive mode and scripting mode? In interactive mode, you are talking to the Python interpreter directly. Whenever you type something, it will reply you instantly, but you are not talking directly with the Python interpreter. In the script mode, you are typing multiple lines, even it may be thousands of line of program at a time. You can type at a time. All the 1,000 line is given to the Python, sent to Python, so that it can line by line read, understand, it start executing. So executing means doing the instruction what you have specified. That is called as execution. How to do that in most of the language? The key is same, F5. Shortcut key is F5, function key 5 in Windows keyboard. With this, friends, I would like to stop here, and I'd like to thanks Shomashekar, Gautami, Manoj for joining this backup session. Tomorrow I want to extend the time because I have to complete as much as possible. Monday when you come to the class, I like you have to understand the normal class with other students. And also I thank Vinay and Rishabh for showing their personal interest to participate in this class. Actually, it is not mandatory for Vinay and Rishabh to come to this session. And also Vinay and Rishabh, in some places they messaged and they contributed for the teaching learning process. I always encourage it should not only be by the teacher, students should also contribute. It will be a nice thing to happen in our classroom setup. Okay, friends, thanks for joining. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll meet you. Thank you.